Good evening and welcome back, everybody. I am the Arcane Heathen, and tonight we're going to, do what this channel is primarily made for. We're going to discuss some of my favorite games to solo roleplay. Um, yeah. And on the first in that list, I have Cairn by Yokai Gal. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. If I'm not, forgive me. But this system is a D20 roll high system for everything except for attacking. Attacks just happen. You roll damage minus armor, and that's the HP loss that the enemy will take. This is a very rules light system. We're talking one page for the actual rules, 18 total pages for the Cairn book itself. I also do have the expanded bestiary for it. The two books together cost, I believe, like $15 total, US dollars. Um, it's a wonderfully simplistic system. It takes all the fluff and hype out of role playing. You just get down to playing a character that you love, and hoping like heck that it survives. And yes, that's what Cairn is. If you haven't got a copy of this, I highly recommend you pick up a copy. Yeah, and yeah, with that, we'll move on to our second game. Number 9 on this list is going to be Apothecaria. I don't know if you guys can see that. Apothecaria is written by Anna Blackwell and Brian Tyrell. I hope I'm getting those right. They should be pretty basic. Should be hard to mess them up. But this system is ran off of a deck of cards. I was actually pleasantly surprised at this system. First and foremost, I'd like to start out with, this is an absolutely gorgeous book. I wish I would have bought the actual book rather than the PDF. But it's absolutely stunning, the artwork in this book. I will own this book as a solid hardback copy or whatever it comes in, but I will own it as well as the PDF that I already paid for. But I will happily purchase a second copy just to own this gorgeous book. But anyway, Apothecaria, you set out as a furry forest friend, and your goal is to brew poultices and potions and things like that to heal what ails your friends of the forest. The game has random tables that you use a deck of cards to generate what happens in your successes and failures. And there's plenty of room to be as hard on yourself or have as much fun or do whatever you want with this game. It's a stunning little system, very complete, and I absolutely love it. It's a joy, it's lighthearted, and it's very immersive. It's fun to just dive into collecting the ingredients and stuff you need to make the poultices to make the fox better. What can I say? Don't get much better than that. Right, all system number 8, Iron Sworn. Possibly could be higher. Absolutely. There is absolutely no flaws with this book or system. This book was written by Sean Tompkin It uses 2d10s as your challenge dice and a d6 as your action dice. You roll your action dice with your challenge dice, and you add your modifiers or any bonuses like that to your action dice. If they equal or beat, or no, if they beat your challenge dice, one or both of your challenge dice, you succeed. If they do not, you fail. And you track all your progress on a progress tracker. The cool thing about Iron Sworn is you swear vows, and that's kind of how you track your progress. Each one of your vows being fulfilled, you move kind of on with your progress line and gain experience and advance like that. Beautiful thing about Iron Sworn, it is a fully contained system, so you can use it to solo, you can use it to role play with other people. It's just a wonderfully uh there's charts in here for rolling for just about everything. Uh, basic Basically nothing you can't do will take you out of this book when you're playing it. It is kind of a fantasy medieval style campaign setting. Um, but it is so beautifully done. I recommend everybody get one, a copy of it. You can actually get Iron Sworn for free. Um, if you do that, buy a copy so it's all bound together and not loose like this. I absolutely would love to do that because after a while I'm gonna lose this. Let's be honest. But yeah, I recommend it and its sister, Star Forged, I believe is what it is. Also written by Sean Tompkins. Both of them are gorgeous games. Star Forged is set in kind of a spacey, futuristic type setting. But they're again self-contained system inside the book, and absolutely beautifully done, Sean. Um, Congratulations. Okay, number 7 on my list of games to solo will be kind of a new one on the scenes. It is going to be uh, Neon Skies by William Buchanan of Wylock's Armory. This recently was funded in Kickstarter. That's where I got my copy through. Congrats on that, Wylock. I know you put a lot of time and energy into this book, and I was happy to back the system. Um, this is the second book on the list that I messed up and only purchased a PDF form of it. This book is absolutely stunning. The artwork that went into this, the colors, the vibrancy, even for a colorblind man, I was able to feel what this book was trying to get across. But anyway, this is what I would consider kind of a rules light cyberpunk kind of aesthetic. Could see how it could be tweaked to be a lot of different kinds of punk. Just flavoring things other ways. But it uses a D6 dice pool system, and where I'm not fully read through this book yet, I can't wait to get into it and play some of it. I absolutely enjoy the punk aesthetics. So I'm super excited to play this game. And once again, congratulations, Wylock, on the Kickstarter, and I look forward to seeing more from you. All right, number 6 on this list I am going to have to go with World of Darkness. In this case, I just so happen to have the Vampire the Masquerade book. Um, but World of Darkness was kind of where I started. They have several different game systems from Vampire, Werewolf, Mage, uh, Changeling, Hunter. Um, Man, those are the ones coming to my head at the time. But fantastic system to just kind of take control of and kind of let the story flow and do what you want to do. It's I consider a pretty RP heavy focus system that really likes to stay in that lines of story driven plot, really heavy immersion type stuff. So it's great, in my opinion, for when you're playing by yourselves, because you can really absorb into that uh blending in mortal society as a vampire, rubbing elbows with the rich and the famous and the such like that. The system itself is a D10 dice pool system. Um, with the character sheet having bubbles where you can fill in the dots, and each one of those dots is essentially a dice you can roll. So you could roll upwards of 10, 12, 15 dice at times. Tens are equal to extra successes. And yeah, ones take away successes. So, and then you set kind of a difficulty rating as in any TTRPG, and yeah, you go from there. Real cinematic, in my opinion, vibrant system, and always has been a pleasure to play. All right, and coming in at number 5 on my list is going to be Pyroborg by Luke Stratton, Limithron. Um, Absolutely gorgeous game. Um, this is insanity, um, mixed with passion, and creative, uh, all mixed together. Yeah, you could tell that this is somebody that this was Luke's heart child. This system is a D20 roll high system. It's very quick to roll up a character. You can roll up a character literally in like 5 minutes. And it's the system is geared upon the randomness of the game of the pirate life. So it's encouraged to roll at random for all your stats, all your class, everything like that. And it really does add an element to the game that just kind of gives you that next pirate up feeling if your character goes down. You can write up a new character and maybe he's even better and you enjoy it more than the last one. The game book itself has so many charts to roll on, as far as treasure maps, things you can find, monsters to attack. There's even uh, and a small adventure in the back. I haven't played the adventure yet, but I plan to. Also, just throwing this out there, Luke is currently got another project on Kickstarter. I have currently backed it, and I would like to hope that maybe everybody else out there would go back it. Just go to Kickstarter and look up yeah, the newest pirate Borg, and get involved and join up with it because it's going to be amazing from what I've seen. But to go along with the pirate Borg here, though, I would like to also discuss well, kind of where it all stems from, and it all runs off of the. Oh, I'm not even going to pretend that I can say the real way to pronounce the name, so I'm just going to call it Morkborg. I believe it's Mjorkbori, um, is how it's really said. But Mjorkbori is written by Pelle Nilsson and Johan Nor. Um, it's kind of a heavy metal fantasy. Um, it's real similar to Pirate Borg. Lots of charts. Real grim, dark. Gonna probably die. Probably die several times. Um, but you're okay with that. You embrace the chaos. Um, I know in Mork Borg there is no technical way to end the destruction of the world. You're just doing what you can to push it back. Um, there are so many of these Morkborg spin-offs. I also have Frontier Scum, put out by Carl Druid. Um, it's a western, an acid western type. Same Morkborg system, same zany. Um, embrace the randomness of the games. There there's several more systems. Vasgrim, Cyborg, Mechborg just ended on Kickstarter. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get that backed. Um, but yeah, all amazing systems. They're dark, fierce, brutal. Um, and then an absolute blast to play. So I highly recommend it for anybody that wants to start a solo journey. Because like I say, characters are easy and quick to develop, and yeah, you're right back in the action. Right, and that brings us to number 4. Number 4 on my list, I would consider to be a controversial spot. And the only reason I say that is because it might deserve to be higher. It might deserve to be lower. I don't actually know. But that game is Shadow Dark. By Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library. The system is a D20 roll high system. Um, the reason it's a controversial pick because I don't own the book. I haven't looked at the book. I haven't seen the book, and I haven't watched anything on it because I kind of want to look at the book before I watch anything on it. It absolutely looks stunning. The book blew my mind when I seen it. When I heard what the game was, it's kind of a dark OSR feel. Um, Bringing the death back to TTRPGs. And I'm all here for it. So I have put it at number 4 on my list, untested and unplayed. And I'm sure it'll probably even move up from there once I actually buy a copy. And am able to play it. But this game has won many uh, awards for game design, and I couldn't even tell you what else. I would be just blowing smoke if I tried to tell you what all that this game has won. But congratulations to Kelsey Dion and the Arcane Library over there. Absolutely splendid work, and I love to see it. So keep up the great work. All right, and the third game on our list is going to be DC 20 by Alan Bjorkgren, the Dungeon Coach. Alan, I hope I didn't kill your last name, bud. Um, it's a the system is a D20 roll high. On my notes here, I have plus, 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 plus. So it's a D20 roll high system plus, 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 plus. This game system has so much involved in it. I'm going to attempt to touch the surface of it. I do currently still only have the alpha. I have not had time to print out my beta copy. But I have backed this Kickstarter. Um, this system has so much going for it. Uh, I will put out a more in-depth video on DC 20 as we go on, but the 4 action system is amazing. Um, I fully, I like the fully envisioned, or what I call the fully envisioned PC characters that DC 20 allow for. And by that, what I mean is you're not hampered um, by what you want to play or what you want to be. If you want to be a dwarf that's a wizard, you can absolutely be a dwarf that's a wizard. You don't have to take penalties that other games apply to a race or a species. Um, just because that's the vibe you want to feel. Um, I love that the combat is dynamic and you actually feel like you're sitting there as a team. I would put this game higher, but I actually think this game would do much better as as a full game with 3, 4, 5 people. I'd love to give this a try with my normal group. Um, yeah, I think it gives you everything you could want for a solo game. I just think having more people to play off would give this game even that much more because it's so dynamic when you can intertwine your spells with melee attacks and it can all happen within seconds and minutes and you guys are coordinating what's going on and it's just yeah, it's on another level for how a game should be ran and feel when you want to feel epic fantasy. So thank you very much, Alan, for this game. It's a wonderful game, and I can't wait to play the full copy. All right, and now to the top two. So number two on my list is actually a game that's relatively new to me. I learned of it through Bob World Builder's channel. Was the first person I'd heard through it. Heard about this game from. And since then I've been watching many wonderful channels talking about DCC Dungeon Crawl Classics. Yeah, game is there's there's just not quite enough words to describe what Joseph Goodman has put out here. Um, Joseph Goodman has created uh possibly a flawless system here. I absolutely love zero level funnels and in solo play I feel that's where it's at. I've ran several zero level funnels by myself and both times I had an absolute blast as heroes were dying. But it is a D20 roll high system. But they have what we call funky dice, which is on top of your D4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 20. They have a 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7, 14, 16, 24, and 30. And yeah, they're called the Funky Dice, and you can order them through Amazon. I have a set myself. Um, and yeah, basically, as you would gain advantage or whatnot, you move up and down the dice chain, rolling a bigger dice or a smaller dice, depending. Um, DCC is all about embracing the wacky zaniness of dungeon diving and delving into unknown places you have no business being. Um, Fantastic game. Um, I would also like to shout out in this category Mutant Crawl Classics, written by Jim Wampler, I believe. But also in the same the level 0 funnels for these are phenomenal. And these games have so much potential on excuse me, pardon, so much potential on what you can possibly do with them, and the stories and places you could create with yourself or other people. All right, folks. And if you've made it this long into the video, you have finally made it to number one. But before that, I would like to take a brief moment to remind everybody to support a small business out there. Um, I know everybody's got their money and everybody wants a piece of it, but there's a lot of hardworking people out there that are just trying to make ends meet with the small companies they're doing. So reach your hand out, purchase something from them, stop in their stores. Um, Make sure you know they exist because they're just as happy to see you guys as. But anyway, let's back to the video. And number one on my list of games to solo role play is going to be Savage Worlds. This game I found maybe a couple months ago, and since then I cannot stop playing it. The game is absolutely dynamic. Combat is dynamic. I'll explain more on what I mean by that. But the system is played with basically you level up in die type as you get better in something from a D4 to a D6 to a D8, D10, D12, and so on. Stopping at a D12 and then from there getting pluses to whatever you're doing. And you also roll a D6, which is what they call the wild die. And every um yeah, wild oh man, I can't think of the word off the top of my head. But anyway, every player character gets to roll up a wild die. Where only wild monsters would get to roll that same wild die. And I can't think of the word off the top of my head. I'm hoping maybe somebody can write it down or blast it out in the comments. If you happen to know what it is, otherwise I'll correct myself in the next video. Because it plans on being about Savage Worlds. But anyway, Savage Worlds, it's a system neutral, uh, so you can play it for just about anything. You could play Western, superheroes, fantasy, sci-fi, anything you could think of, you can play using the Savage Worlds uh, book here. I also have the fantasy companion to go with mine. And I plan on getting Deadlands and maybe even the Pathfinder for Savage Worlds eventually as well. Um, but honestly, if there was one system that I could bring anywhere I go, it would be Savage Worlds. The books are nice, small, compact, and like I said, the system's dynamic, and I can take it anywhere I go. But the reason I love the system and why I fell in love with it was how combat made me feel. Um, when I'm in a game combat, I want to feel like I'm taking some hits, you're taking some hits. The battle could go either way. A lot of the games out there right now just don't give me that vibe anymore. Where Savage Worlds does, there are no hit points. Wild characters have 4 wounds, so you take shaken on the first hit, that breaks your toughness, and then wounds after that. Once you get to 4 wounds, you're incapacitated. You're done. Um, Absolutely love that. There's times that I've been in battles where I'm taking wound after wound. I've been on 3 wounds. I just can't seem to get the enemy past shaken, due to, 14, 15 in toughness. And yeah, you're in that dire moment where you're like, man, I might have to run. And then the next thing you know, your archer, lands a shot, rolls her dice, and the dice explodes. So when in this game, when you roll the max number of the dice, you get to re-roll that, and if you roll it again, you get to re-roll it, and again, and so on and so on. So in those moments where your dice explodes, really allows you to land home. I mean, you can go from an enemy having full life and just dominating your party to one shot through the eye, gives it shaken and all its wounds in one hit. I've seen it happen. I've actually been on the verge of turning tail and running, and I thought, okay, you know what? My archer's going to make one more attack, and the next thing you know, my d6s are exploding left and right. It's just hard to argue when an archer puts up 30 some points of damage, and you're like, okay, well, it looks like she shot it clear through the eye. Game over. Um, wow, we need to rest right now because I am beat up. But anyway, that dynamic feeling, where death could always be on the line, always be around the corner, is really what I love about Savage Worlds. And also, I mean, like, it just, yeah, battles could go either way so quick, so fast. And you can't be afraid to turn tail and run. Most of these games I brought up tonight, you can't be afraid to just turn tail and run. If you stay in there, duke it out, death will probably find you. But anyway, I am the Arcane Heathen, and if you didn't hate this video, like, subscribe, maybe share with a friend, leave me a comment down below. If you just stopped by and made it this far, uh, may the gods bless you, and thank you very much for coming. You have a wonderful night, and yeah.